Good morning, good afternoon, good evening internet, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Economical Rides. In today's channel update, I will be sharing a route with you, which I discovered a couple of weekends ago, but at the time I didn't have my camera with me, so I couldn't record it. So I returned to this nice mountain road last weekend, once again, and those will be the images you see here in the background. I've added some captions to the video so you can see the road names and precise locations. In this video I will be giving you another brief update on my bike, how we're getting on together. I will also be mentioning some of the topics that have been discussed in the comments section of my various videos, and I will also be giving you an update on the planning for future videos, what you can expect in the coming weeks. So with regard to my Enfield Meteor 350, everything is still perfect. We're coming up to the 2,000 kilometer mark. I will actually pass the 2,000 kilometer mark the next time I go out on the bike. So that's a landmark because that means that the official running in period is now over. Everything has been absolutely perfect so far. I've had no issues with the bike. Things that really stand out to me are the tyres. I'm really surprised, but I really do like the tyres. I always feel like they give plenty of grip. I'm still a big fan of the standard tyres. This has turned out to be a bit of a divisive subject, but for me the touring seat has been absolutely wonderful, supremely comfortable, and I don't mind the riding position too much, but we will come back to that later in the video. The gearbox is still sweet and precise. I've not had any problems at all with the gearbox. The whole riding experience continues to be very intuitive, very relaxed, very easy, and I have really no gripes whatsoever so far. So that's my 2,000 kilometer verdict, is everything is still brilliant. For me, one of the most enjoyable things about the Meteor, apart from its incredible character, is the way that it's so easy to ride. For instance, most mountain roads here tend to be third gear or fourth gear roads, depending how tight the bends are. This road, for instance, that you are seeing now, was a third gear road. Basically, I just kept it in third gear. We were running downhill. I could have used fourth, but I didn't want to be on the brakes all the time. So I left the bike in third gear, used the engine braking to slow down for the bends. And basically, there are so many roads around here where riding the Meteor, it's like riding a scooter. I mean, you just literally find the right gear for the road. Generally, it's third gear or fourth gear, and you can more or less leave the bike there. It's got the torque to pull out the slower bends without any issues. So it really is a very easy, very relaxing bike to ride, and I just enjoy every single ride on the bike so far. I think at this point we have to give great credit to Royal Enfield for the choice of gear ratios, because it really is the case that for all normal roads, fast roads you'd be looking at fifth gear, anything more twisty, fourth gear, possibly third gear. But basically there's always the right gear for any given road. You never seem to be between gears, thrashing the engine. I think the choice of ratios on this gearbox is absolutely super and suits the bike perfectly. Another great thing about the Meteor so far has been the incredible fuel economy. I don't think it's ever going to be a problem to do 400 kilometers on a tank full. I've done it twice now. The last time the tank was quite well brimmed. I did 400 kilometers, and when I went to refill the bike, it only took 11.5 litres, which means there were 3.5 litres left in the tank. So 3.5 litres must be enough to do another 100 kilometers. So it does look as if 500 kilometers on a tank full is achievable. This is something I hope to test in a future video, but before I do that, I need to get the running in period finished. I need to do a couple of other things as well. But at some point I will try and do a fairly scientific fuel economy run with a tank full of fuel and try to achieve 500 kilometers on one tank full. With regards to the channel, we've had some great uptake within the comments section. Lots of people posting their stories, also helping each other out with advice, making suggestions. So thanks very much for that, and yeah, let's keep that going. Keep talking to each other. I enjoy hearing your stories. Many of you, when I first met you, You were thinking about getting a Meteor, then you told me that you'd actually bought a Meteor, and then you were waiting for a Meteor. And some of these people have actually now received their Meteor and are out there enjoying it. So that's been really great to experience and follow your stories. So please keep those coming. And as I say, a lot of people are sharing experiences and making suggestions to help each other out, which is another great aspect. So thank you very much for participating in the community here on this channel, and let's keep that going. The hottest topic in the community in recent times has been the, let's call it the touring seat scandal, where we've discovered that basically the touring seat, and I've done a video about this, the touring seat does rob you of about 6 centimeters of seating area fore to aft. And there's been a lot of discussion about this, people trying to help each other out to decide whether they should go for the touring seat, whether it's going to suit them, or whether they'll have a problem. The consensus seems to be that people with longer than average legs might find that they are seated too far forward with the touring seat, and their feet will be too far behind their knees to be comfortable. So this is definitely an issue. Personally, I don't have a problem with the touring seat, but I do have a 30-inch inside leg. But I don't find that my feet are in a particularly forward position. I do feel that my feet are kind of more or less below me. So based on this, I will be looking to fit the standard seat at some point and do an extensive test with the standard seat, just because I might prefer the riding position where I can sit a little bit further back than I am at the moment. So that's definitely something that will be coming up on the channel, but I have some longer rides and some other things that I need to do first. I don't want to change the seat unless I'm sure that I get on with it. As I mentioned earlier, the running in period is now more or less over, so soon I will be planning to do my motorway test. I'm planning a trip to Granada, which will involve about 3 hours of motorway. It's about a 5-hour round trip. So that should be a video to look forward to. Because it's quite a steep motorway to Granada, it will be a very good test to see whether the Meteor can hang on to, let's say, a speed of 100 kilometers an hour on an uphill motorway. And also it will be useful coming back to do a top speed run. I will try to get a GPS measurement of the top speed on a long downhill section of the motorway. So let's see what she'll do. So that's a video coming up reasonably soon, hopefully within the next week or two. Needs a bit of planning, and I need to make sure I can take a day off work to do it. So that's something else that I have planned. I'm also currently experimenting at recording live audio whilst I'm out for a ride. I've changed my helmet and I've purchased a different helmet intercom, and I'm currently experimenting to see how well that all works. The main reason for doing that is just because if I'm pushed for time one week and I want to push out a new video, it would be great to just be able to go for a ride, and whilst I'm out enjoying my motorcycle, just talk to you guys and gals about things that are going on with the channel. It would just be a little bit easier, a bit less involved than filming the video, coming back later, doing a voiceover to fit the video and putting it all together. It's a little bit more complicated, takes a little bit more effort. So if everything goes well, maybe in future I'll be able to do some live talk and ride videos for the channel. It's certainly something I'm working on at the moment. But I haven't come to a conclusion yet whether or not it's acceptable, and I'm still experimenting, but I think we're getting there. So I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover in this video. I hope you enjoyed the new roads that I recently discovered. I hope some of the information I've given you in this video was of interest to you. If you liked the video, I would appreciate, as always, a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, if you would subscribe, that would help me greatly. Oh yes, there's actually such a thing as a notifications icon. If you click the bell icon, you will receive a notification as soon as I've uploaded a new video, so you won't have to go looking for it and you won't have to check your subscriptions feed. It will take you straight to it. I was made aware of this by a cheeky chappie by the name of Charlie Cole, who is in the community here. As far as I'm aware, Charlie is the first person to use the notifications feature on my channel. So this is just a little shout out to Charlie Cole, because he was, as far as I'm aware, the first person to use notifications on my channel. And if any of you would find that useful, obviously you have the opportunity to do so too. Thank you so much to all of you for watching my videos, writing in the comment sections, generally supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it, and I look forward to making a new video for you very soon. Bye bye.